Hello, everyone. It's Professor Hall. Welcome to week 4 of English 130. So yesterday I explained the 4-1 assignment on writing a thesis statement. Now we can talk about the 4-2 assignment, the preliminary introduction. This assignment is a little bit more straightforward, but it's set up a lot like the 4-1 where you're doing parts and then you're putting everything together. So basically, it's a rough draft for your introduction that you can tweak a little bit later for Module 5 if you need to, or you might be able to use it just as is. And then you have a full paragraph already started for your paper, and it won't be maybe as intimidating to write the rest of it. So first, before you do the 4-2 assignment, the thesis statement is part of it. So you have to do the 4-1 assignment on thesis statements first before tackling this project. Next, this is very important. Keep your audience in mind. You chose an audience 2 weeks ago. You reflected on those choices and maybe changed them a little bit in Module 3. Now you have to write to your audience. You are also going to reflect on what audience you wrote to, and then you have to make changes based on your second audience. So if you don't keep your audience in mind and you just write a paper, like for me, your teacher, that's going to be a problem for you down the road. And I don't want you to get in trouble later and miss points or struggle with later assignments. So keep your audience in mind. Think about specifically what would draw them in. What information do they need to know when you do your overview and when you do your hook? Again, there's a template and exemplar. There's a template and an exemplar. You can see what they want you to do for all 3 parts of the introduction and then how to combine them as well. So what is the rubric asking for? Number 1, a few sentences to draw the reader in. Usually in writing, this is called a hook. It's something that hooks or grabs the attention of the audience. You could look up an interesting fact, statistic, or quotation. You could say a few things about the topic in general. You could add your personal connection to the topic. A lot of people do that before kind of jumping in and introducing the article. This is really a place where you can speak to your reader. What would make them want to click the article? What would make them want to keep reading your analysis, right? Then you give an overview of the article itself. If you remember your summary for Modules 3, this could be a good place to use that if it wasn't too long. Or you can just have one sentence or so summarizing kind of the core idea, and then later on you'll go into that core idea in more detail as well as the main points. The important thing to remember is that you have to have the article title in quotation marks, and you have to have the author's first and last name. Otherwise, your reader, your audience member, has no idea what article you're talking about. Every other time you use the author's last name, but the first time you use the author's name, it should be first and last. Then, don't just jump into your summary without giving the author's name and the title. Everybody is writing about something different. So after the overview, then you have your thesis statement. This can be copied and pasted from the 4-1 assignment, and you can also feel free to adapt it a little bit if you feel like you're already sort of repeating some points. And then you pull everything together to form your introduction. Feel free at that point to add or delete things as necessary to kind of make things a little bit more clear and concise. So here is an example. We're looking at an article called The Secret of Good Sleep. So, hook, drawing you in. I suffered from insomnia from the age of 12 until I was about 30. I could never get to sleep, and I would stay awake until 2 or 3 in the morning, tossing and turning, trying to fall asleep. Eventually, I realized that I was stressing out, first about grades in school and then about work. It took me a long time to heal, but eventually I overcame insomnia. So, that would be something to draw in your reader's attention, right? And now that leads into an overview of the article. I wish I had found the article The Secret to Good Sleep by Ruth Eckberg when I was younger. The article talks about sleep hygiene and argues that stress and hormonal imbalances are preventing most Americans from getting good sleep. Ekberg describes tips and techniques that can help people find the sleep habits they need to stay healthy and alert throughout the day. Now I have my overview. You know exactly what this article is about, and I've given you my personal connection to it, so hopefully you want to read my analysis. Thesis. In the article, The Secret to Good Sleep, Ruth Ekberg has an effective argument regarding how readers should get better sleep. Using an entertaining tone, she gives fun examples describing how to lower stress, adrenal and cortisol levels through prayer, meditation, proper diet, and body temperature. Then you'd put everything together. So I changed a few things around so that it kind of flows a little bit better, that kind of thing. So I'll read you the whole thing all together. I suffered from insomnia from the age of 12 until I was about 30. I could never go to sleep, and I would stay awake until 2 or 3 in the morning, tossing and turning, trying to fall asleep. Eventually, I realized that I was stressing out, first about grades in school and then about work. It took me a long time to heal, but eventually I overcame insomnia. I wish I had found the article The Secret to Good Sleep by Ruth Ekberg when I was younger. The article talks about sleep hygiene and argues that stress and hormonal imbalances are preventing most Americans from getting good sleep. Ekberg describes tips and techniques that can help people find the sleep habits they need to stay healthy and alert throughout the day. The article presents an incredibly effective argument. Using an entertaining tone, she gives fun examples describing how to lower stress, adrenal, and cortisol levels through prayer, meditation, proper diet, and body temperature. Her research and examples can help any reader. So there's a full introduction. There's another one in the student exemplar, and there are also some helpful tips and hints through all of your readings this week, as well as tips about how to do that thesis statement writing. So that's it. I hope this helps. I think that the exemplar does do a wonderful job demonstrating the process that they're looking for, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks, everyone.